think we have to start with Spurs tonight, boys. I think we've got to start with Tottenham because they were embarrassed at the weekend, and now a message from Daniel is that Stellini has been sacked. A humbling at the weekend. Talk to me, Sav. Talk to me.
Can I just record a message and then you just don't need me and it just plays every week? It's the same answer. Look, yeah, it's a bit of a shambles, isn't it? And it is at the point where I'm laughing at it because it's so bad. There's literally, you can't debate with any other fans about it. I can't sit here and go, oh, but this, we're awful. The players aren't playing for anybody. The owner's got everything wrong, from director of football to manager to signings to tea lady to, I don't know, kit man. I don't know. The whole thing is just wrong. And look, I mean, if you are going to get rid of Conte, and I've got my own theory on why Conte went, if you want to hear that in a minute, but if you are going to remove Conte from power, so to speak, you've got to remove all of Conte, and that includes Stellini. I don't know why you would leave him in charge and think that anything is going to change or the players are going to play for him. So I'm not surprised. I'll be more surprised if we pick up a single win between now and the end of the season. We need to get to the end of the season. We're probably going to take a few batterings along the way against the likes of Liverpool away. I think Villa will turn us over massively at Villa Park. Palace will probably come to us and give us a good hiding as well. And then we go again. We start a new season with optimism. So, yeah, good times, Terry. Good times, mate.
I hear that. The statement, Igal, from Daniel.
I find that weird. I don't know about anybody in the comment section, anybody here. Have you ever seen a club statement from an individual? Usually it comes from the club. You don't see it from this owner or from that, unless it's something specifically addressing a scandal that has to do with the owner or something like what happened with Roman where he had to leave. I don't think from Daniel. It's kind of like, is he bigger than the club? Like, what is he? Does he really believe he's bigger than the club? Because it almost comes as if the statement from Tottenham or from Spurs would have made more sense. But from Daniel, it almost seems like, maybe I'm overthinking it, but to me, it just sounds like he's a little bit delusional and he believes that he runs everything and no one else can have a say on anything.
He's not delusional. He does run everything. This is what I was trying to explain last week. This guy runs the show, every part of it. But I think this statement, Igal, is more from, he's ballsed up completely. Like he ballsed up bringing in Conte. It was never going to work. He's then ballsed up bringing in Stellini, and I think this is more. He had to take it on the chin, right? He had to say something. He had to acknowledge that because there are planned protests. There are planned people leaving early against Man United on Thursday. He's trying damage control at this stage, but it won't work. The fans have gone. The fans have turned.
So you view this as a positive accountability. That's what you view this as.
I don't know if that's a positive. He's got nowhere to hide. He has to take accountability for this. He is single-handedly responsible for the club. He's been there 22, 23 years. This is the mess that we've got to after 22, 23 years of ownership. I'd like to think, whether it's a football club or any business, that we're stable, right? That we've got a plan and everyone knows what our company is and the product we sell or whatever. 22 years. Can any of you tell me what Spurs are?
You are a consistently club that finishes in the top 6 over the past, I think, 12 years. Since like 2008, you have been finishing in the top 6. You haven't won trophies, but you kept your position there. And that's where you are now. Now you might be replaced with Newcastle. They're going to create their own history, as Man City created their own history over the past, because they're winning trophies. And you failed to create history where you were on top. What I mean on top is that you were around the top clubs, challenging for trophies. You were Champions League final, FA Cup final. You were always in the top 4, always Champions League club. But you failed. And I'm fearing for Spurs that if they don't get it right, I'm really fearing for Spurs. If they don't get it right, they might be replaced. And It's not only about the money, it's always about you create the history, and you haven't. And that's the worry for Spurs fans. Most of them, they're worried that this was our chance. You were very stable, Safa. You said that. You're a very stable club with a project with Pochettino in 2013. And the peak was that Champions League final, but you didn't capitalize. And I'm not sure where to go from there because it keeps getting worse.
Mhm.
I would say this: they're the most successful team that have never won anything, based on the fact that they've achieved so much off the pitch.
Never
whereby,
won anything.
No, recently, like you haven't won
Oh.
anything recently, but you are up there with the top clubs in Europe. And people would say whenever they mention the top 6 or the Premier League's top 6, they always include you guys. Whenever they include any of the top earners or any of the top clubs in world football, you see Tottenham
Yeah.
somewhere in that list, but you have nowhere near the level of success of any of those clubs. You look at RB Leipzig; they've recently started as a football club, and they don't have much in the top level yet. But I view you guys in that same bracket at this moment in time, where it's like you haven't achieved anything to be to the level of where you are at, but you've been able to get there by doing smart decisions off the pitch. And that's where maybe Daniel Levy deserves the most respect. He's gotten Tottenham Football Club, Tottenham Hotspur, into this top 6, into this bracket where people are talking about you as an elite club, where
I can't
you
do
have
this
nothing,
again. The
you have
whole
nothing to show for it.
I can't do this. I can't sit and have rival fans talking to me about what respect Daniel Levy deserves. Daniel Levy can go. Listen, Igal, you're a football fan, right?
Yeah.
Right, I'm a football fan. We're all football fans. None of us are in here to celebrate finance. None of us are in here to celebrate stadium and infrastructure, right? Daniel Levy is listen, Daniel Levy's kept us where he's needed us without ever wanting to push the envelope. Those years you said when we got to Champions League, those years when we made it to finals, those were the years where you turn around and go, right, we're on the cusp of something now. Right, go and strengthen the squad with 3 or 4 top quality players and build. We don't ever do that. What we do is we make it and then we go, oh, we don't need strengthen. We don't need strengthen. We made it there. And that's the thing, because he knows the difference, Igal, between finishing 4th and winning the league in terms of prize money is what?
It's the ambition. You need to push on.
Right, but that's
the money is not different. It's not that different. Yes, I get
right,
what you're saying, Sava.
That's the
so
point.
For him,
so for Daniel Levy, he'd have
okay,
to right, for him to now get to first for an extra 15 odd million, whatever, I don't know, somebody will tell me the right numbers, for an extra 10, 15 million, he's got to go and spend 300, 400 million on top players. Do you see the problem here?
I didn't want to cut you off, but just to make it clear, I was not trying to give him any credit for the state that you're in right now and saying, oh, he doesn't have any fault with that. I'm just basically saying for you guys to get to where you guys were in mid-table to now be considered solidified top 6 and one of the top teams in the league. You got to give him a little credit there.
He has done at Tottenham what the Glazers have done at Man United. People look at like Ed Woodward, and I've seen so many Man United fans, prominent Man United fans on Sky News, on big channels talking about how they say things like, I even think as business people, they're dumb because if we'd have won more, they'd have made even more money. And it's like, no, because they would have, the way they've operated, the people they had running the club after Fergie, the Ed Woodwards, have been friends of the Glazers for decades. It's all about growing the value of the business without exposing themselves to too much and selling it at a massive profit. Because essentially one day, that is what Levy and Edic are going to do. They want to sell it for as much profit as possible. And that's absolutely right. To go one place, 2 places further in the league, sometimes it takes another 200, 300, 400 million pounds. And you look at Man United, we spent a lot of money on the football pitch and wasted a lot of money on the football pitch. But that's money the Glazers couldn't really take out. They couldn't do that and maintain a certain level. They've basically kept Man United at a point where we're still worth a lot of money, but we're not quite successful. What they should have been doing is taking those billions they've taken out in dividends, and that should have been creating new training grounds, new infrastructures, improving stadia, and they've not invested in the right places. And that's what Daniel Levy's done. And you guys have become, a little bit of a joke because of the fact that you were so close to winning some big trophies 3, 4, 5 years ago. You had, the likes of Son and Kane and even players that have left now. When you had Toby Alderweireld and who's Vertonghen.
Jan Vertonghen, yeah.
When those two were in their pomp together, one of the best centre-back pairings in Europe, as an example.
They were amazing.
you had a really good team and it's fallen apart. And you can see now the motivation of Daniel Levy and ENIC, which is about making money. No different to the Glazers, no difference to what Hicks and Gillette tried to do at Liverpool, but it went horribly wrong. Now, though, on top of this, you're now at the risk of losing Harry Kane, and you might get a lot of money for him. So you might still pick up 80 million, 90 million for him, but that's still going to be somewhere near 60 million pounds less than you were offered 2 years ago for him. Is it going to be reinvested correctly? Who is the new manager going to be? Right now, it's for me, like looking on the outside in, it is a bad time to be a Tottenham fan.
It's a mess.
And yesterday's result for me was just almost like it was indicative of the way what Tottenham have become in recent years. And I was very happy to see Matt Law's sort of news that United are now doing their due diligence on Harry Kane, because I want my club to save him. We're going to have new owners in the summer, fresh slate, brilliant team being built, new manager coming in with at least one trophy. Someone like Harry Kane, if he was at Man United this year, he'd have a trophy. In fact, if he was at Man United this year, I think we'd be in a title race. I don't think we'd win it, but I think we'd be in the title race. He's got to get out. And I don't know where Spurs go from here, because Newcastle are on the rise. Liverpool and Chelsea will come back to challenge it. They're in a very, very difficult situation for me, Tottenham, right now. And I'm at a point where I don't even want to banter, because it's got to a point where, that scene from The Simpsons, like he's dead already. Think of the kids. That's how I feel. It's like Spurs are done out here. And I actually now want to see Spurs fans treated with respect. All of our clubs in this country, I can't speak for other nations because I don't know the makeup of it. Our clubs are all built by the working class communities, and I give a massive damn about how normal everyday people are treated, and what ENIC and what Daniel Levy are doing to those fans who, by the way, pay more money. I actually now want to see Spurs fans treat point where whoever's got that stream on in the background, turn that down for us. For me, from my point of view, I want to see them treated right. I want to see Spurs fans stand up and do the right thing by challenging their football club, condemning their football club, maybe walking away financially if they don't get what they want. And I know that's a hard thing, but listen, I've seen it at my club. If you keep giving them your money, they'll keep treating you this way. That's the thing. It becomes a very, very vicious cycle.
There'll be 62,000 people in that stadium Thursday night.
Yep.
If you know what I mean by that, you know what I mean by that, right? There'll be 62,000 people in that stadium. They'll all be spending money on. I'm not blaming those fans, but this is just what we've become. It's a day out. It's a lovely day out. I don't know if you guys have been to the Spurs Stadium. Have you all been?
I've been.
Yeah, it is phenomenal. The Spurs Stadium, it's the only brag we have, and that's really sad. Oh, come and see our lovely stadium and our bar and we've got lovely toilets. The toilets at the Spurs Stadium,
they're phenomenal. Yeah,
they're phenomenal, right? But that's where our money goes.
You can charge your phone at your seat. So it's amazing. It's brilliant.
I had a tour in the stadium because it was this one of the games I went in England, like back in 2019, and I'm like, okay, this stadium is so good. And I stayed after the game, and I paid one of the guys like £20 just to take me around, and it's absolutely fantastic. It's top notch, but the problem is you're losing your global fans if you don't win. That's one of the things that I want. I know you want to move on, but just one thing: Spurs are losing young kids coming and supporting them. The period where Spurs will reach in front of the Dele Alli, the Harry Kane, and as you guys said, you were gaining young kids around the world. You were gaining recognition, global recognition. It's not only about the local people going. It's not only about the tourists that go to London. It's about globalization. Arsenal is still a big club without winning trophies because they have a massive fan base that was built around the 2000s. Massive fan base all over the world. They go to the States, Asia, they fill out stadiums. If Spurs don't pick it up, they're going to lose their global recognition and the club's value go down because it's all about merchandise outside England. It's not only about the 60,000 that go to the stadium. The money comes from people watching your games outside of your country. And you're going to lose that. And it's scary times for Spurs fans, to be honest.
And that's even worse given the context of the game yesterday. Not only was it a bad result, obviously, but it was also symbolic in a way because Newcastle are coming for that big six, a big six spot. I don't think it's going to be a big seven. It's going to be a big six. Someone's got to drop out. And this is not the sort of time where you want to be capitulating. It's
going to be sour, isn't it? Well, a sour drop out like that. That's what it'll be like with Tottenham. I'm joking, mate.
Yeah, so United, Liverpool, probably too big to fail. Maybe the same with Arsenal as well. Chelsea and City will probably always be there or thereabouts with the money and the backing. Spurs is a very good company. I think it's fair to say that Levy's made it a very good company. But in terms of like on the pitch, that's where the worry would be for me. That because Newcastle are coming, and with the investments, because they're a very well-run club, we can already see that. And the way they will be going with their investment. If I was a Spurs fan, I would be really concerned about dropping out of that big six on a more permanent basis.
Yeah, do you know what? I think we need to this year, though, right? I truly believe. Like I did a video this morning saying I feel we need to finish 8th, and everyone's like, "No, we need Europe." And I'm like, if ever a club needs a reset, needs to get to the summer, get rid of so much deadwood, and actually just build an 11 for a while. Obviously more than 11, but you know what I mean. Build a team. We kind of need to do that.